All right, welcome back into the channel and welcome in for another video. Eagles family, Eagles Syndicate Nation. Unfortunately, sadly, cut days are upon us. The roster has to be shrunk down to 53 players, and we are starting to see the cuts roll in for the Philadelphia Eagles. I do have work this afternoon, so I'm going to get this video up now, recording around noon, just kind of talking about what we've seen happen already and some of my expectations, predictions for what could be to come. I want to start this video off by saying, listen, all these people that are cut today, I get it. They're not all perfect NFL players, but these are people chasing their dream. I wish them all the best, excuse me, whether that be being on the practice squad of a team, finding a spot on another team's 53-man roster, etc. Some of the more notable cuts, we'll start with wide receiver John Ross. When the Philadelphia Eagles made a trade for wide receiver Jahan Dotson from the Commanders, you kind of figured the wide receiver room had to shrink down just a little bit in Philly, and John Ross was one of the more prime candidates to be cut. Britton Covey, not the best receiver, but the team does like him in the return game, his punt return abilities, kickoff returns. We'll see where that falls with the new system. Some other candidates, Johnny Wilson, but you just drafted that guy. You saw some good potential out of him. I liked him. Anais Smith, again, just a younger guy that it's worth developing and seeing what you have compared to a John Ross, who has kind of already been around the league. He's a prime candidate to be brought back on the practice squad, and then as soon as there's an injury in a wide receiver room, have him be elevated to the main the roster or the 53 squad. John Ross has got some speed. He had a couple really good routes in the preseason where he got open deep and Kenny Pickett just went and missed him. It sucks, but I do wish John Ross the best. However, probably the most notable cut so far from the Philadelphia Eagles, they as well cut tight end E.J. Jenkins. I know a lot of people really liked him. At the end of the day, I don't see a world where he was getting on the field. You have Goddard, you have Alcantara. Those seem to be your main two guys. Jack Stoll did just get cut, so there's the potential that Philly is looking to bring him back on the squad. I wouldn't have any complaints there. Fourth string quarterback, Will Grier. This was, as nice as I could say it, an auto cut, right? The team wants Kenny Pickett to be the backup, Fine. Tanner McKee probably should be the backup, but he will remain on the roster. Now, some big potential cut names. We've seen a lot of veterans be cut around the league, a lot of, oh my God, I can't believe he was cut. Noah Brown from the Texans, Samaje Perine from the Broncos, who just in name value, especially people that play fantasy, it's like, whoa, that guy's getting cut at this point in time. This has to do, one, with salary, and two, with just veteran players that you kind of already know what they are. And since they're not going to get on the field, there's no point in trying to develop them behind the scenes. That being said, who are some guys that are on the chopping block for the Philadelphia Eagles that could fit this role? The number one name that everybody's talked about is James Bradberry. From what I saw last season and even a little bit in the preseason, his days as a cornerback in the NFL are over, at least as a starting cornerback. And Philly's got a ton of depth in terms of youth. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Isaiah Rodgers. You have an Avonta Maddox on the squad already. Eli Ricks, Keely Ringo. So the Eagles, I know that the secondary was a problem last year, so take what I'm saying here, not as they're deep with such great talent, but they are deep at the corner position, meaning that James Bradberry would have to make the roster as a safety. Okay, let's take a look at the safety room. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship, a Sidney Brown, Cooper DeJean could play safety. So that room a little full, and you want to get some of the young guys on the field. James Bradberry, to me at this point in time, is a prime cut candidate for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I would not be surprised to see it be so. Could save a lot of money for the team potentially in terms of a cut candidate, and I just don't see where he fits on the football field. Things would have to go kind of disastrously with injuries, and if that was the case and he's still a free agent, the team could bring him back. But other than that, I do think that the team ends up cutting a Tyrion Davis Price. I don't see the need to have more than 3 running backs on this team. It's going to be Saquon, it's going to be Gainwell, and it's going to be Shipley. Maybe you bring a Tyrion Davis Price back to the practice squad, and if there is an injury, he can get elevated to the 53-man roster. I'll be really interested to see which backup offensive lineman they pick. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't have a lean one way or the other as to who I really want them to pick in that situation. I'm kind of fine with what the team does. On the defensive line, same deal there. We know who the starters are. We know who's going to make the roster. We will see if there's any surprise cuts. I don't want to see Eli Ricks cut. I will say that. I think Eli Ricks has the body type of a good nickel corner. I could see them potentially converting him to that role and seeing if he fits in. Could be a replacement for Avonte Maddox come next season. I do not want them to move off of Eli Ricks. I will say that outright. He's kind of close to that 53-man because, like I said, they're just deep at defensive back. I would cut Bradberry before I cut Ricks. I will say that, but drop your 53-man roster predictions in the comment section below. Tomorrow, when the 53 is out, or maybe later tonight, probably tomorrow, I will have my reaction to this 53-man roster posted. I will catch you guys then. Peace out. Fly, Eagles, fly. Go Birds.